We are told during our life, we go to school and the teacher tells you, you're not creative. We get a job and somebody at work says, you're not creative. The creative people work over here. I disagree. I don't define creativity as the ability to paint a picture or to write music. Those are expressions of creativity. Creativity to me is the ability to have an idea. We all have ideas. Innovation is the ability to get it done. I firmly believe everybody's creative, and I get tired of hearing people, oh, he's more creative. No, they're not. We're all creative. The human race is incredibly creative. And actually, if you think about the next decade with artificial intelligence coming on, scheduled to be thousands of times more intelligent or think faster than the human race, one of the main traits that will enable us to compete as a human, how do you compete with a robot that thinks thousands of times faster than you? Creativity. You can't program creativity in a robot. You might be able to 30 years from now. You won't in the next decade. You could program the robot to paint the Mona Lisa, and they'll probably paint the Mona Lisa better than Leonardo da Vinci. I said Leonardo DiCaprio last week, which wasn't good. But unless you program the robot, they wouldn't know what to do. We have intuition. We're all born with it. We're born with imagination. We're born curious, and we're born creative. Those skill sets will become the most employable skill sets of the next decade because they can't be programmed. If you're not, I can't remember exactly who said, I think it was Woody Allen, if you're not failing every now and then, you're not trying anything new. Richard Branson, one of his best quotes is, if somebody asks you if you could do something, say yes and figure it out afterwards. We all mess up every day. You mess up every day. I mess up every day. I make mistakes every day. You don't learn from your successes, you learn from your mistakes. All of our industries are governed by rules. And those rules have always been there, but nobody asked what if that rule went away. In 1940, Walt asked during Fantasia, he asked because he wanted it to mist inside the theatre. He wanted heat pumped in during the movie, and the theatre owner said, no, it's too expensive. So he said, what if I take my movies out of the theatre? Well, if I take them out of the theatre, they need to be three-dimensional. If I make them three-dimensional, I'd have to have people walk around. Well, if they walk around, Cinderella would have to be in a different space to Davy Crockett, so they'll have to live in different lands. Ooh, I know, I'll call it Disneyland. Fast forward to 2005, and Mark Randolph, who's here today from Netflix, he used to go to a video rental store and he asked, what if there were no stores? And came birth Netflix. Challenging rules. The two guys who founded Uber, they walked into a bar late at night, it was raining. They'd had too much to drink. They couldn't get a taxi because it was raining, and one of them asked the other one, what if every car was a taxi? Challenging the rules. This next decade will be so disruptive if we don't challenge the rules by which we've all existed. Some of the world's leading brands and companies will fall down simply because they think they can continue to do business the way they have the last 100 years. They can't. Artificial intelligence is coming, blockchain is coming, and a generation that cares more about purpose than profit, that doesn't want to buy your products or services if they don't believe in what you stand for, and they don't want to work for you. Well, how can you stay relevant? And most companies think purpose is a charity. No, it's not. It's what do you stand for? People don't go to Starbucks for the coffee. It's not particularly good coffee. They go because they believe in what Starbucks stands for. At the Apple iPhone, my battery, Apple, lasts me 2 hours. I'd like a battery that lasts all day, but I'm not buying it for that. I'm buying the purpose that Apple helps the world think different. How do they do that? They create great products and services. I'm buying the Apple purpose. They're more creative. Go and watch the children in the playing ground. Watch children in the playing ground, see how creative they are, and go into slums and impoverished areas. In fact, outside the hotel where I'm working, where I'm staying, there are 3 or 4 carts of crafts. How creative are these crafts? Right? There's no machine involved. There's no program involved. These are handcrafted crafts. People with less money and less resources are more creative than people who have, because they get fat and lazy. People who are hungry are more intuitive, more innovative, and more creative. The question is what encouragement I would give young people. Don't take no for an answer. When I was young, I joined Disney in Florida. When I left Florida, I transferred back to London. In the London office at the time for Disney, there were only 25 employees. I phoned the office every day for 27 days until they got fed up of me calling and they gave me an interview. From there, I became the coffee boy, and I folded the press kits every day. And I never take no for an answer. There's a great quote from Henry Ford: whether or not you think you can or think you can't, you're probably right. If you believe you can do something, you can do it. As Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. And I think that's very true.